Harry's been provided with a generally lesser level of protection than what he was provided in the UK before. His decision to step back from royal duties, obviously, but that did not give rise to a legal complaint.
Well, quite, and it appears that, I just got a little notification there which should give us more clarity. He has lost the challenge at the Court of Appeal, which is going to be a huge blow for Prince Harry. He has a couple of options now, but of course the main point is that both the High Court and the Court of Appeal have upheld the Home Office committee decision to downgrade his security. In other words, he is not entitled to 24/7 taxpayer-funded police protection. He is no longer a working member of the royal family, and that is something he hasn't had since 2020. Now, this does not mean that Prince Harry has zero security when he comes to the UK. The level of security he gets is provided on a case-by-case basis. He needs to give the Home Office and the Metropolitan Police around 28 days' notice before he comes back to the UK, so they can decide what level of security he gets.
Welcome back, Royal Sussex Squad family. The only place where truth speaks louder than tabloids and love rises above the lies. Today we bring you a breaking update that speaks volumes, not just about the case Prince Harry is fighting, but about the entire system he is standing up against. As usual, we are here to defend the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, to call out the rot in the media machine, and to highlight the unbelievable courage it takes to speak truth to power. So, sit back, relax, and prepare yourself for another deep dive into a story the tabloids hope you forget. And remember, hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and if you want to show your support, don't forget to give a super thanks below. Your support helps keep our squad strong and unfiltered. Let's get into it. It's now been confirmed that a senior legal figure has officially stepped down from Prince Harry's court case over Mirror Group newspapers. The name? Senior Cost Judge Jason Rowley. Why? Because, get this, he used to work for Temple Legal Protection, a company involved in a bespoke cost policy that applies to 40% of the very same costs being scrutinised in Harry's case. Yes, that's nearly half the cost structure of Prince Harry's landmark victory over MGN. Now let's stop and take that in for a moment, because this isn't just another bureaucratic shuffle. It's not just a judge stepping aside because of a technicality. This is a reminder, yet again, that the British legal system is crawling with potential conflicts of interest, and that this particular fight, Harry's fight, isn't just about newspapers, it's about a deeply entrenched system that's fighting tooth and nail to protect its own. Judge Rowley admitted on the record that he identified the problem, not Harry's team, not MGN. He did, which tells you two things. First, there are still people in the system with integrity, and second, the conflict of interest is so glaring, so in-your-face obvious that even he couldn't pretend it didn't exist. So let me ask you this. How many times has this happened before in other cases involving the royal family, the press, or powerful institutions, where the conflicts were not acknowledged, where the connections went unchecked, and where the Sussexes were left swinging in the wind, while the media manipulated the story? Now, let's rewind the clock a little, squad. Prince Harry took Mirror Group newspapers to court in a historic legal battle that went back decades of phone hacking, of illegal surveillance, of journalists digging through his life, his mother's legacy, and his family's pain. We're talking about a pattern of abuse between 1991 and 2011. Yes, 2 entire decades of this nonsense, and we're supposed to believe that Harry is overreacting. They said he was paranoid. They said he was dramatic. But when he took the stand, for 8 grueling hours across 2 days, what he showed wasn't paranoia. It was raw courage. Courage that the British royal family, especially the firm, never had the guts to display. They silenced, they complied, and they folded under pressure. But not Harry. He flew from the US, stood before the court, and faced the storm head-on. And what happened? The court sided with him. £140,600 in damages awarded. MGN was exposed. Their tactics were laid bare for the world to see. But that wasn't the end of it. In February 2024, MGN was forced to pay even more, substantial additional damages plus £400,000 in legal costs. And that's not a small sum. That's the system trying to put a band-aid on a wound they themselves inflicted. But even as Harry won, even as the truth came out, what did the tabloids do? They spun the narrative. Suddenly it was about Hollywood Harry wasting court time. They called it a vanity case. They mocked the damages like it was pocket change. Why? Because for the tabloids, truth is a threat. And Harry? He's the most dangerous man to the British press because he refuses to be controlled. Now, let's circle back to Judge Rowley. When he stepped down, he said something that deserves to be written in stone. He said, "I am concerned that I may have knowledge of how this is done that is not before the parties. It seems to me obvious that the risk is there. The risk is there." That one sentence says everything you need to know about why Harry's legal team can't afford to blink. Because this case, this process, it's not fair by default. It's rigged unless someone calls it out. And the only reason we even know about this potential conflict is because Harry keeps pushing. He doesn't settle, he doesn't sweep it under the rug, he shines a light on it. That's why we ride for him, that's why we back him. Because he is doing what no one in the royal family has dared to do, dismantle the toxic relationship between the monarchy, the media, and the power structures that protect them. And guess what? This fight isn't over, not even close. The Duke of Sussex is still going head-to-head with Associated Newspapers, the notorious publisher behind the Daily Mail. This is the very same media empire that has targeted Harry and Meghan relentlessly, publishing lies, dog-whistle racism and cruelty disguised as journalism. But Harry's not fighting alone in this case. He's joined by Elizabeth Hurley, Sir Elton John and other brave claimants who are finally saying enough. The allegations, not just phone hacking but phone tapping, deception and unlawful record gathering. And just this week, Mr Justice Fancourt ruled that Harry's team must hand over certain documents relating to alleged payments for evidence because, as the judge said, there is a real prospect that this could impact witness credibility. Translation: there's more dirt to uncover, and those who've been hiding behind a wall of silence are starting to feel the heat. So here we are, Sussex Squad. On one side, you have the Duke of Sussex backed by law, truth and an unwavering sense of justice. On the other, you've got a media complex so desperate to protect itself that it's willing to cut corners, smear victims and manipulate the system. But one by one, those walls are falling. And here's what they didn't count on. Harry is relentless, Meghan is unwavering, and we are unshakable. This is why they try to discredit him, why they try to erase Meghan's impact, why they roll their eyes when he shows up in court, because they're terrified that he's winning. They're terrified that we're not buying their lies anymore. They thought Harry would stay silent. They thought Meghan would disappear. But the joke's on them, because what they've done, over and over again, is prove that the Sussexes were right to walk away, right to speak out, right to protect their children, right to build a life based on truth, not tradition. And no amount of smear campaigns, rigged courtrooms, or editorial hit jobs will stop them now. Senior legal figure in Prince Harry's court case steps down amid potential conflict of interest. A senior legal figure has stepped down from overseeing the determination of legal costs in Prince Harry's court victory against Mirror Group newspapers due to concerns about potential conflicts of interest. Senior costs judge Jason Rowley's decision stems from his previous employment at Temple Legal Protection, where he designed a costs policy that applies to approximately 40% of the costs in the Duke of Sussex's case. The legal figure announced his recusal at the start of Thursday's hearing, stating, "Having seen the documents rather more fully, I have taken the view that I need to recuse myself from this case. It is not a decision I have taken lightly." Judge Rowley revealed he had worked at Temple Legal Protection for 10 months before becoming a costs judge. During his tenure there, he developed what he described as a bespoke policy that covered a significant portion of the case expenses. The judge explained, "I am concerned that I may have knowledge of how this is done that is not before the parties. It seems to me obvious that the risk is there. He emphasised that neither party in the proceedings had raised the conflict of interest issue, indicating he had identified the potential problem independently. The Duke of Sussex secured a significant legal victory against MGN in December 2023, receiving £140,600 in damages after the court determined that 15 articles about him resulted from unlawful information gathering. The case centred on allegations that journalists at the Daily Mirror, Sunday Mirror and Sunday People engaged in phone hacking, blagging and employed private investigators for illegal activities between 1991 and 2011. Harry travelled from the United States to testify during the 7-week trial, spending 8 hours under questioning across 2 days in June 2023. In February 2024, MGN agreed to pay substantial additional damages and cover all of Harry's legal costs, including an interim payment of £400, 000. Another judge will replace Judge Rowley, with a further hearing scheduled for a future date to address the costs determination. The Duke of Sussex continues to pursue legal action against Associated Newspapers Limited, publisher of the Daily Mail, alongside other claimants, including Elizabeth Hurley and Elton John. They allege the publisher commissioned unlawful activities, including phone tapping and obtaining private records through deception. Last week, Mr Justice Fancourt ruled that Harry's legal team must disclose documents relating to alleged payments for evidence in that case, stating there was a real prospect. Such evidence could affect witness credibility at trial. So what does this all mean for us, the Royal Sussex Squad? It means we keep showing up. We keep calling out injustice. We keep supporting Harry and Meghan in every way we can, whether it's sharing their story, correcting the lies, or just standing tall when others try to tear them down. And if you believe in this message, if you believe that truth matters more than tabloid trash, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and drop a super thanks to help us keep the truth alive. Because this isn't just a royal story, it's a human story, a justice story, a resistance story. And we're writing it together. This is Royal Sussex Squad. And we ride with the truth. Until next time, stay bold, stay honest, and stay Sussex strong.